I think in the previous session, we covered the live and extract part. And for our today's agenda, so we have joins and unions. Some of you might be aware of joins and unions. For those of you who haven't heard about it prior to this, anyways, I'm going to cover this from the starting there. I think maybe you can just hold on for some time there and let me know if you have any doubts or maybe if you have any comments there. Let me know if you want to add on to something there while I'll be covering these things. So joins and unions is the one part that we are going to cover today, and the second part would be the data joining and data blending. We'll try to understand these two concepts in depth today. So I think the first part, most of you would be aware of it. The second part needs the in-depth understanding. I'm talking about the data blending and joining part. For that part, you need a bit of understanding for the joins. Okay. So I'll first cover the joins and then later on I'll move into the data blending part. Okay. Uh, so we have basically, you can call it as, I'm just covering these joins here. Again, you can try making other combinations as well. So in here, I'll be covering six main joins here. Again, union included. So first would be the inner join, which is nothing but which gives you the matching rows between two tables. Okay, in this case, table A and B, whatever are my matching rows, it will give me those rows. Second would be my left outer join or my left join. Okay, which will give me all the rows from my left table and the matching rows between the left and the right table. Okay, third would be my right outer join, which will give me or the right outer join or the right join, which will give me all the rows from the second table and the matching rows from the first and second table. Then I have my full outer join, which will give me all the rows from both the tables. And then I have a cross join, which will give me, which is nothing but a cross product of all the rows from first and the second table. And then I have the union, which is nothing but appending of the data from first table to the second table. Okay, again, just an overview here, something that we are going to see practically through an Excel now. Okay, so in case you are worried about like what it is going on, so let me just get in there and then we can start off. So it's a bit difficult for me to, switch it every time, but I think we are recording these sessions, so it needs to be that way only. So just bear with me for some time. Okay, guys, so in here I have two tables with me. I hope I'm audible. Can someone just quickly confirm you're able to see my screen and I'm audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So in here I have two tables with me. First one being my course details table, okay, which has basically three columns. One is student name, the other one is program, and the third is the fees for that particular program. Okay, again, these are just simple dummy tables that I have taken. You can create your own tables as well and then try to understand. These are the simple things that I could think of, so I just mentioned it here. Second table is my student location table. Okay, so this one has again student name, then I have city name, and then I have profession with me for that particular student. So if you see closely in both these tables, the common identifier is my student name. Okay, so both the tables have student name inside it and the rest two columns are different. In here it is program and fees, and in the second one it is city name and profession. Okay, so whatever again, so in order to create a join, remember there needs to be some common field. Okay, I'll repeat myself again. In order to create a join, there needs to be a common attribute, some common field on which the join would be performed. In here, so let me first start with the cross join. Okay, then I'll come back to the other 4 joins here. Let me first start with the cross join, or you may call it as cross product here. Okay, so I think if we start this way, it would be better for us to understand the rest 4 of them. So a join is basically a cross product plus some condition there. Okay, and that condition could be anything. Maybe that might be an inner join, a left join, right join, full outer join. So there will be always a cross product there, and finally we'll get the join based I mean the matching rows based on the conditions we have specified. So let us first understand what a cross join is, then we'll come back to the inner join and see how it is taking place in rest 3 of them as well. Okay, so as the name suggests, cross join, or you may call it as cross product here. Okay, so basically it is giving you a multiplication of all the rows from first table with all the rows from the second table here. Okay, so let us just see with an example here. So if I see here, I have in the first table, student table, course details table, I have student name, program and fees. Okay, so this particular row will be multiplied to all 3 of them now. Okay, all 3 rows, it will be multiplied one by one. Similar to this, the second row, okay, I have Bhavna Sharma, Power BI and fees. Fees is 10,000 will be multiplied to all 3 of these. Okay. So this is nothing but my cross product here. Everything multiplied by everything. Okay, you can maybe remember it this way as well. Everything from the first table will be multiplied to everything from the second table, or every row from first table would be multiplied to every row from the second table. So this is how my cross product takes place, or cross join takes place. So in here, if you see, I have Ankit Kakkar Tableau 12,000. Then it is multiplied to all 3 of them. As you can see, Ankit Kakkar Tableau 12,000. First, it is multiplied to this row. Okay, Anil Pune working. Next, it is multiplied to this row. Nisha Gurgaon working. And then it is multiplied to this row. Abhishek Hyderabad working. Similar to this, you have in here Bhavna Sharma Power BI 10,000. So this is multiplied to first, this is multiplied to this first row, then this is multiplied to this second row, then this is multiplied to this third row. Okay, so let us just see with an example, maybe okay, I can just think of some name here right now, Samir. Okay, and again Hyderabad working. Okay, so now in this case, maybe some bright color for Samir. Okay, so in this case, as you can see now, this row will be multiplied to all 4 of them, or maybe let me just put this here rather. Okay, so this way now you can see if I add this one, I already have 6 rows here. Okay, prior to this, if I disregard this, I already had 6 rows here. Okay, 2 rows here, 3 rows here. That means 6 rows in total I will have in multiplication. But now, since I've added one more here, so I have 3 rows here, and this one row will be multiplied to all 3 of them now. Okay, so let me just so Samir will be repeated here now, and in case of the second table, all these 3 will be multiplied with this. So as you can see now, Samir Hyderabad working multiplied to the first row here, second multiplied here, and the third multiplied here. Okay, so this is how a cross product takes place. So the number of rows in first table and the number of rows in second table are multiplied in order to obtain the total number of rows in the final resultant table here. Are we good with this? So if we have 4 rows in the first table, and let's say 3 rows in the second table, then we'll get 4 into 3, 12 rows in the cross product. If we have 10 rows in the first table, and if we have 5 rows in the second table, then 10 into 5 will have 50 rows. I know this might seem too easy here to understand, or maybe as an explanation there, but yeah, this is how it is. And again, all the joints are based on this thing. And again, I'll show you like how these joints are taking place and the backend part as well. So that's why I wanted to cover this first. Any questions on this, especially those of you who, who are seeing the joints for the first time? Akash, are you clear with that?
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay. Anyone else who think, they are not able to understand it or anything? Okay, I think then we are good in that case. So this is the, again, simplest explanation of what a cross product looks like. Now we'll see how these cross products are actually coming in effect when we are placing the joints here. Okay. Okay, so I have the same table with me. Okay, if you see here, I have the same table with me, same these two tables, course detail tables and student location table. So we'll try to understand it for inner join, how the background is going on. And then for the rest of them, we can just ignore that part and maybe understand what the resultant table looks like. So in here, if you see, I have the same table with me. Okay, so how or like what is happening would be Tableau will pick up, or any other whenever you are placing a join, it will pick up one of the rows as I told you just now. So it will take one row from the first table and multiply it with all the rows from the second table. Okay. And all these values will be repeated there. Okay, maybe I just. So if you see here, so this is how it starts to take place. So first Tableau will pick, so inner join. Okay, let me just first, okay, come to this. So my inner join will give me all the matching rows from the first and the second table. Okay, so this is my first table and this is my second table. Wherever my student name is matching, it will give me that particular row in the resultant output. So if you see here now, first how the backend is working is, let me just make it for one more so that you understand it better. Okay, so I have taken two examples here. One for the first student name, that is Ankit Kakkad, second for Bhavna Sharma. So how Tableau will perform this join would be, so all this is going on, all this is going on the backend part here. So if you see, so Tableau will pick up one row from here, okay, and will multiply it to all these rows here from the second table. Okay, see this is happening here. It has taken up this particular row, Ankit Kakkar, Tableau and fees, and has multiplied it to all the other rows from the second table. You can see. Okay, but it will consider only those records where the student name from first table would be equal to the student name from second table. So it will take only this record here. Okay, similar to this would be for the second one as well. So it will take Bhavna Sharma Power BI 10,000 and then multiply to all the rows from the second table, and we'll take only the one where the student name from first table would be equal to the student name from second table. That is this row here. Similar to this, you can do it for all of them, but this is how in the background it is happening. And finally, you'll have in the resultant output, you'll have only the ones that have the matching student name. That is, let us see now. Ankit Kakkad present here as well. Ankit Kakkad. Then Bhavna Sharma present here as well. Bhavna Sharma. Then Maria Roy present here as well. Maria Roy. Casey Howard is something that is not present anywhere, so it will not be able to figure out any particular row where Casey Howard is equal to Casey Howard from the second table. So it will disregard this. And then also for Sheetal, it will make all of these rows multiply here, but again it will have only for one of these rows, so it will pick up only this row. So Sheetal will be in my resultant output, and then finally Jason Holder would be there in my resultant output. These will be again be disregarded here. Okay, so the red ones that you are seeing will be disregarded from my uh, final resultant table because they are not present neither in the first table nor in the second table. I'm talking about the red ones. And the yellow ones which are present in both the tables will be taken as a uh, output for my final resultant table here. Okay, so for the inner join, my condition is student name from first table should be equal to the student name from the second table. Any questions on this now? Anyone, any questions? Especially for you, Akash, is it clear?
Yeah,
Okay. Yes, so this is how my inner join works. We also call it as equi-join. Okay, just for your reference. Then let us move on to this second one, that is my left join, and I think this is the most widely used one. Okay, so for a left join, we'll get all the rows from my first table and only the matching rows from the second table. Okay, so in here again, I have my both the tables present here. Okay, but in this case, I'll get all the rows from my first table. That is, even if let's say there are 100 of rows, then all the 100 rows would be there. But from the second table, I'll get only the ones that are matching from the first table, and the rest of them would be disregarded. So as we can see here, okay, Ankit Kakkad is present in the first and the second table. It will come here. Okay, so as you can see, first we have just copied the entire first table here, and now we are placing wherever we are finding the matching names, we are placing in front of that particular student name. So as we can see, Ankit Kakkad, okay, Ankit Kakkad is present here, so we have placed it in front of Ankit Kakkad. Then Bhavna Sharma is present here. We have placed it in front of Bhavna Sharma. Then Maria Rao is also there. We have placed Maria Rao in front of Maria Roy. Then Anil is not present in first table. Then that's why we have disregarded this. Sheetal K is present here. We have placed it in front of Sheetal K. Then Jason Holder is present here. We have also placed it in front of Jason Holder. Then Nisha is not present anywhere. And again, rest all the rows would be my null values here. So whatever you are seeing in red here is something that you are going to see as null when you'll have in the when you'll work with the Tableau part and when you'll see in the data part there. All these red part that you are seeing here would come as null there. Okay. And wherever you see the data, it will come like this only. So again, I'll just reiterate. All my rows from the left table would be there for a left join, and whatever are my matching records will come in front of those particular rows wherever they are matching. Any questions on this now? Any questions from anyone? Okay. Okay, I think then we are good to go ahead. Yeah. So similar to left join, we have a right join. Okay, but in this case, what happens is my secondary table, my second table now becomes my primary table, and my first table now becomes my secondary table. Okay, so it is similar to left join only. Okay, in the case of left join, the first table had all the rows coming up. In the case of right join, we have all the rows from second table coming up now. Okay, now all these rows will come first, as you can see uh, in my resultant output. Yeah, so I have my this table now. I think it has lesser number of rows than this. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 rows should be there, right? Yeah, so 7 rows. As you can see, now all these rows are first copied here, and then wherever the matching records are there from the first table, it has been placed in front of it. Just exactly similar to left join. Only thing is my in here my second table becomes my primary table now. Okay, those of you who are wondering, I could have done it this way as well. It can be placed this way as well. Both would be correct. So just for your understanding sake and make it a bit simpler there, I've placed it like this. Again, if I place it like that, it becomes a left join with my second table as my primary table. Okay, so in effect, it would be a left join only, but a left join with this table as my first table. Since I'm explaining right join, so that's why I've kept it in the right part, the second table. Any questions on this? Anyone, any questions? Okay. Okay. I think then we are good to move ahead to the next one. That is our full outer join. Okay, so there is commonly asked question difference between cross join and full outer join. Okay, so in here, if you have to define it, so full outer join is basically a combination of both the left join and the right join. Okay, when I say combination, basically an addition there. Or you can say it, my full outer join contains both the records, all the records from both the first table and the second table. Okay, so in here, again, I have the same tables with me. First table, the scores detail tables with 8 rows here, and the second table with the 7 rows here. So how the join will take place in this particular table would be, so again, my entire first table would be copied here first, and wherever there are matching records, it will come in front of that. And wherever those which records are not matching, that will append on the right side only, okay, in the second table itself with the new rows here. So we have all the rows from the first table as well, all the rows from second table as well, and also wherever they are matching, they are placed in front of each other. So as you can see, Ankit Kakkad is placed in front of Ankit Kakkad, Bhavna Sharma is placed in front of Bhavna Sharma, Maria Roy in front of Maria Roy, and Casey Howard, since it is not there, these all values would be null. So wherever you are seeing red, again I'll reiterate, you'll see null in the database. In the Tableau connections there. So what you guys can do is you can actually connect this file to Tableau and see how they are coming up. Okay, I'll show you in a while, like how these will turn up when you connect it to Tableau and then see there. Okay, so this is how my full outer join takes place. So the difference between full outer join and cross join would be cross join will give me the multiplication of all the rows from first table and the second table, whereas the full outer join will give me all the rows from the first table and the second table and the matching records there. Okay, so in the case of cross join, it will multiply everything by everyone, by everything by everything. But in full outer join, it will give me a table wherever I have all my matching records as well as the non-matching records that are there. Okay, so are we good till here? Are we good to go to the next part? Okay, can anyone just place it in the chat window? Are we good to move ahead? I'm assuming since you guys are not replying, so I'm good to move ahead. Okay, so if at any point you feel like you want to ask anything, you can just just unmute yourself and ask the question there. Okay, I think then let us just quickly see the union part as well. So union is nothing but the appending of rows here. Okay. So again, now if you see, since the student name was common there, so I got the first table entirely here. Then I got two more columns added there, and the second table from there onwards, I got all the rows from the second table as well. So it is nothing but all the rows from the first table, let's say 8 in this case, plus all the rows from second table, 7 in this case. So earlier, in the other case, we were getting the resultant output with the student name getting repeated. Now, student name is treated as one column only, and the records are getting appended here. Okay, so if first table has 8 rows there, second has 7. Now we have 15 rows in total, as you can see. We have 15 rows here, as you can see. So this is how my union takes place. So it is getting appended after the first table is done here. So my first table is getting done here. Then all the second table is getting appended from here onwards. Okay, so this is how union is different from any other join. In the case of union, we are just adding the data. So let's say if there is third table here as well, okay, then it will get appended from here with the student name. So let me just take that example here. So let's say if I have third table with student name here, and maybe anything like income here. So yeah, that is one thing. This will also get appended here. Okay, and one new column would be created now, and this entry will come here, something like this. Okay, so this is how my union takes place. Are we good till here now? And if we are, let me see. Okay, so if we are good here, so let us just quickly come back to the slides. Can someone just quickly tell me if you're seeing my slides here or if you are seeing the Excel sheet? Okay, thank you, Nikita. Okay, so just to recapture it quickly, as we can see, inner join returns a table which contains both the values that have matches in both the tables present in one data source, something that we saw. Okay. Then the left join returns a table which contains all the values from the left table and corresponding matches from the right table present in one data source. Yeah, that is also one important thing. We need to make sure that like whatever joining is done. Just remember this, joining is something that is done with the same data source. Okay, when it is with a different data source, it is called as blending, something that will come onto the later part of our session today. So joining is always from the same data source. Just remember that. Then we have right join here, which again, right join returns a table which contains all the values from right table and the corresponding matches from the left table. Okay, present in one data source. Then we have full outer join. Full outer join returns a table which contains all the values from both tables present in one data source. Okay. And then we have union. Union combines two tables by appending rows of data from one table to another. I just read it out so that I think we have already covered that in depth just now. So I think I just wanted to recapture it on that thing. Yeah. So let us see how this we can work on this particular join in Tableau. So let me just open. First, let me just stop sharing my screen from here and let me just open a Tableau workbook. Yeah, I think you guys can see my workbook now. So let me just try connecting to the same file there and see what happens. I think this is the file here. So I'll be using only these two, course details and student location. Yeah, these are my two files that I have to use. Okay, just to see how it looks in Tableau. So let me just put my course details into here. Okay, as you can see now, I have my 8 rows. Okay, all those 8 rows are here. And now how to create a join in Tableau. So again, there is a concept of relationships and join, something that I don't want you to get into. So earlier we used to just put two tables like this and they used to join themselves. But something that I don't want you to do like this. So what I would recommend it to do it in the like a traditional like we used to do it traditionally before we had the update. Always go to this part here and open it. Okay, and once you have this, now you can see this is the traditional way earlier how we used to do it in Tableau. And now you can just place a join here. Okay, by default it is taking an inner join. Okay, so you can see the changing of the resultant table here. Let me just. So I hope you remember from the previous class, this is my metadata view and this is my original data view here. So you can see this has come exactly the same in the inner join. We got 5 rows there. This is exactly the same output that we got. And if we have to see it in a left join, now I'll get 8 rows here and 5 matching rows here and all the other rows as null values. Okay, so as you can see, in total I got 8 rows. Okay, 5 matching rows and all the other values are null, which you were seeing there as red in color. Okay, then for the right one, I'll get 7 rows on my right side. Okay, yeah, 7 rows and 5 of them are matching and rest all these values are null. For the full outer join, you can see 8 rows here I got, 5 of them matching and 2 rows were non-matching rows there. Yeah, 2 rows, those were non-matching. Rest of them are null here. Let me see if I can see union here. I should, or maybe let me just. Should give me a maybe. I'm not sure why it is not coming up. Okay. Yeah. So one important thing, one more thing here. So this is one way the data is joining here. Okay, so as you can see, student name. So it is telling me the field on which it is joining the data. In this case, it is student name. So let's say we had some other field as well where we wanted to join on, let's say I wanted to join on program as well. So if we have program here, it will join on that particular, since we don't have in this case, so it won't join there. Otherwise, if we have multiple fields that we want to join on, we can select it that way. I think it would not take a join now. Yeah, because there is nothing, no condition here in between these two. So let me just close it. If I don't want to perform that one, let me just close it. Okay, back to student's name. So the idea here is if we have multiple conditions we want to join on, we can just keep on adding these conditions from here. Okay, and if you want to remove a particular join, just drag that outside. Okay, that is gone. Something that I wanted to show you guys so that you are aware of how to do the join in Tableau. Okay, again, I'll just reiterate. This is a new way here. You can just go to and we call it as a noodle here. Okay, so this noodle, this will only create a relationship between these two tables. Again, something that I won't recommend. I'll always recommend since if you are not aware about the data there, so don't go for this option. Anyways, if you are not have in-depth knowledge about the logical and physical table, so just ignore that. Just open this one up and just create it. So this was my traditional way how we used to do earlier in Tableau, the joins. Just go for this view only. Okay. Otherwise you will get confused there, and I don't want you to get confused there. So let's not go there. If you want to try it out, you can just try it out, but I'll recommend not to go there and do it in this way only. Any questions now? Anyone has any questions? Anyone, any questions?
Abhishek, can we apply multiple joins? Course
Yeah.
table, student. Yeah.
Yeah. You can actually do the multiple joins, something that I showed you. I think the same thing that I was showing you, right? So this, oh, okay. You want me to join one more
Multiple
table?
tables.
Okay, got it. So same way you can, okay, let me just make another join with this union. So yeah, so I'll answer both these questions here. So for Bhavna, your questions, for your question, the union part, you can just drag it here and it has added the rows here. Okay, now it has added multiple. I think in this view, I'm not able to show completely. Just a second. Yeah, I think wherever you are seeing this as student location 1, so it has appended the data there. And for your question, Siddharth, just give me a second. So let's say, okay, let's say I want to make one more join here. Okay, since I don't have one more table here, let me see if I can make it through here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, Siddharth. So I'll just come back to your question. Yeah. So let's say just consider the student location table again here as some other table. Okay. Any other
Yeah.
table for now.
Yeah.
And now just place it here, and Tableau will automatically, if it is not picking up, then it will ask you. You can again make that same join condition here, student name and also student name here. So now you can see you have two multiple joins here. Anyways, rows would be same here only because this table and this table are same. Okay, same way if you want one
Yeah.
more, just place it here. Okay, again the same condition you can put it here. Student name, and it will give you the same amount of rows there. Okay,
Yeah.
so just for your knowledge, Tableau allows you 32 joins at once. Okay, so you can have 32 tables connected here, 31 tables connected here, similar to this way. Okay, so these are how you do the multiple joining part. And coming to your question now, Bhavna, so just a second. Let me just complete it again. Oh, okay. So let's say instead of this, you wanted, yeah. So for union part, just drag it a bit on the the first table, and you can do the union here. Now, as you can see, 8 plus 7, you have 15 here, 15 rows. Okay. Okay. So are we good here till here? Yeah, so this we have seen now how to make a join, how to make multiple joins as well, and how to make a union there. So whatever we did earlier in Excel is something that we have seen in Tableau as well. Any questions from anyone on this? If you have any questions, just let me know right away, or else we'll take a break. I give you 10 seconds. If anyone has any question. Okay. Okay. I think then in that case, okay. I think in that case we are good. I'll see you in 5 minutes. We'll take a short break and then I'll see you in 5 minutes. So bye for now. I also I'm back here. Any question in the data joining part? Anything that you didn't understand you want me to repeat? Okay. Okay, since we don't have any questions, let us move to the next part. Yeah, so the next part that we are going to cover would be our data blending part. Okay, so whenever we have data from the same source, we call it as data joining. Okay, but whenever, again, real life is not that simple. So we have data that is located in multiple locations, and Tableau actually provides you with the option to bring in all together in the same um, Tableau engine, and then do the blend of that particular data and then give you the final data and the visualization based on like whatever you have selected in your view. Okay, so in here, so let me just quickly walk you through this. So the first part that I've already discussed is the multiple data sources. So whenever we want to combine multiple data sources, we go for a blend, then a then a join there. And a blend is always a left join. Just remember this thing. Take this is a thumb rule here. So it will always be a left join. And again, you'll have some of your table as a primary table. One of your table would be primary table, and the rest of them would be secondary tables. So yeah, since we have one of them as primary table, it would be a left join there, and we will have all the rows from that particular table. So ideally, like whichever table has more amount of rows there. Again, if you already know the relationship, then the things are different. But if you have similar tables and coming from different data sources, then go for the one which has more number of rows as the primary table there. Okay, so also blending occurs at the granularity of the view. So the data joining is something that we are doing. We know the grain of the data and we do it prior to building any particular visualization. Okay, but in case of blending, so whatever is there on the view, so let's say if it is a country wise analysis of revenue there, so based on uh, the country there, the data or the visualization that will come up would be based on whatever is there placed in my view. So if country is there, it will be at the grain of country level. If it is city there, it will be at the level of city. If it is state there, it will be at the level of state. So whatever we have in the view, based on that particular thing, we'll have the grain of our data, and that will be on the fly there. Okay, so it's a left join. It is something that has been getting done on the fly, and it is something that is done on the granularity of the view. Just remember that. So again, commonly asked question, if again you are going for a training there, so this is the thing. Okay, so one of the most important part is multiple data sources, but other than that, it is always a left join. It occurs always at the granularity of the view, whatever is there in the view, country wise, state wise, city wise. And as you can see, aggregation happens before the blend takes place. Okay, and also with, they are again very important thing, blends are unique to each worksheet. So whenever you work with a new worksheet, the blend there would, again, you have to create the relationship or the blending there uh, at the worksheet level. Okay, so blends are always unique to each worksheet. All of these we are going to see now in the Tableau part. Yeah, so let us just quickly move into that. Just give me a second. Okay, I think this is the one that we have, right? So let me just remove this one first. Or let me just open a new worksheet only. Yeah, guys, can someone just quickly confirm if you can see a new worksheet here? Let me just try resharing it. Yeah, I think now you can see my worksheet, new worksheet. Is it visible now? Can someone just confirm if it is visible? Yeah, okay, thank you, Bhavana, for that. Yeah, so this is my first page here. So let me just, again, we have already seen how to connect to a particular file. So let me just connect to one of this file called as revenue comparison, Flipkart versus Amazon. Okay. So again, just like any other connection, I'm connecting it. And let me take, I think Flipkart has more number of rows in this case. Yeah. So let me take Flipkart first. Let me just walk you through the data as well. So in here, I have 12 rows. Okay, as you can see, so I have my period, I have my region, and then I have my revenue here. Okay, so I have the data for 2 years, 2015 and 16, and I have it for 6 cities: Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Assam, and Gujarat. Okay, and then I have the respective revenues from those particular regions for a particular time period here. Okay, so I have Flipkart as my first data source here. So if I go back to sheet, you can see Flipkart as my first data source. Okay, so this is, again, in this case, I am taking it from the same sheet. Now consider it the second one coming from some another source, let's say some CSV file. Okay, but I am taking it from the same sheet, but you can consider it from a different source as well, because I want to show you how the blending takes place. So consider the first one coming from this Excel file, and consider the second one. Okay, this Amazon one, coming from some other file and come back to sheet 1. Okay, so in here it is coming from it is actually coming from the same file, but consider it this way that the second one is coming from the second file, maybe a database, and the first one is coming from an Excel file, or maybe the first one is coming from an Excel file and the second one is coming from some text file or CSV file, just to show that thing that it is coming from multiple. So my only assumption here is that both of them are coming from two different data sources. Okay, in here it is coming from the same data source only, but I just want you to take that assumption for simplicity sake. Okay, so let me just click on this. Once I click on this Flipkart database here, it will show me all the measures and dimensions here from the Flipkart data source. Okay, what are measures and dimensions? Something that we are not covering today, but in next class. Okay, consider it all these as measures, dimensions here, and all these as measures here for now. Just take that assumption. Then the second is Amazon. So now you can see all the dimensions and measures from Amazon only. Okay. So let me just, so whichever I'll place any variable from a particular database I place first becomes my primary data source. So in this case, I'm going to place from this data source. As you can see, as soon as I put this region here, a blue tick has come here. Okay. Let me just show you again. As soon as I place this region in the columns, a blue tick appears here. That means blue means my primary data source. Okay, and let me just try to analyze the revenue here. Let me just swap this row here. I just want to see my columns as my rows and my rows as my columns. So I have the swap option here. Yeah, and I have my text option here so that I can see all these things we are going to explore in our next class. For simplicity's sake, I just want you to understand this concept. Okay, since it is more related to the connections part, so I want you to understand this first, and then later on in the next session, we can go about exploring all this. Okay, so yeah, in here I have this aggregated data. As you can see, there is no period that I have taken here. Okay, so let me take period as well, and I'll get back all my 12 rows here. As you can see, all that data which I was showing you here, all those 12 rows are present here now. Okay, if I remove period from here, then it will aggregate it based on the region, irrespective of the period. So if you see here, what I'm trying to say is if Assam has, how much is this? 15 crore of worth of revenue in 2015 and 12 crore worth of revenue in 2016. And if I remove this period from here, it will finally be 27 crore of revenue overall in these two time period. Since time period is something that I'm not mentioning here right away. But I want to see the time period analysis as well. So I'll see all these analysis here. Let me just make it to entire view so that you can see all of this. Okay, all the numbers here. So this is my analysis for the revenue for Flipkart, region wise, period wise. Okay, so period wise, region wise, revenue is something that I'm getting. Are we good till this point? If anyone has any questions here, just let me know. Then only I'll move ahead. Any questions on this? Okay. Okay. Yeah, let me just go ahead. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm going to show you how a blend takes place. In order to make a blend here, I'll go and click onto my Amazon. So this is my different data source now. That is my assumption, as you remember. So I go to this different data source. And now, as you can see, there is small paper clip that is visible along the region part. Okay, so region here from the second. Hello.
Yeah, Abhishek, we thought you were on mute.
No, no, no. Actually, my connection dropped off in between.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'll continue from there.
Hmm.
Okay, let me go back to that point. Yeah. So now we are going to see how a blend takes place here. So in order to create a blend, I'll go back to my secondary data source, which is Amazon in here. And as I can see, there is a small paper clip that is present in front of region now. Okay. So Tableau is able to identify, okay, that there is some common relationship between this region here and this region here in the first database. So let's say I want to see the revenue from the second data source as well for Amazon. So I'll just put this revenue here. And as you can see now, uh, first thing that I want you guys to see is that this has come as there is an orange tick that has come here. That means that this is my secondary data source now. Also, you can see the same thing here as well. Okay, so a database with orange tick, that means there is a secondary data source and a blend is created here now. Okay, so this is how the blend takes place. So wherever it was matching rows, remember left join when I told you, wherever all the rows from the first table and the matching rows from the second table. Okay, all the rows from the first table are here. Okay, this is my left join, and all the rows from the second table, as you can see, are here. Okay, but now there is one problem with this. Can someone just quickly tell me through the chat window what is the problem with this part? Anyone?
We are not aware that which is the revenue for Amazon and which is the revenue for Flipkart, I believe, because we
Mm,
have not mentioned that.
not really, not really. So if you closely look here,
Yeah.
that is something again you can figure out because in the secondary table you can see, okay, secondary data sources Amazon here,
No, no,
and
but I mean, if we are presenting it to the another person, then that should be mentioned there as a visualization. What I believe is.
yeah, see, that is something that I can take care of. I can just simply click
Hmm.
here and maybe I can just put this to revenue Amazon here. But other than that, if you see, if you closely observe, these
Hmm.
values here are exactly the same. Okay. So Tableau has been able to identify the blend between region here, but it has not been able to understand the blend between the year and the period from here. The reason being, in both of these databases, it is named differently. Okay, in the first one, in the Flipkart one, it is named as period, and in the second one, it is named as year. Okay, so this is the thing. Uh, so in order to rectify this problem, there are two ways we can rectify it. Okay, first we can go to this data part, go to the edit blend relationships. As you can see, there is automatic that is selected here. You can make it to custom, and then you can simply add here. Okay, you can add period with the year part. Yeah, period with year. And as soon as I click on OK now, you'll see a paperclip coming in front of year as well. And all these values will update. Okay, see this in the front of year, the paperclip has appeared and all these values have updated. So earlier it was coming like 6 crore 80 lakhs. Now that has been divided into 4 crores for the period 2015 and 2 crore 80 lakhs for the period 2016. It has been broken down year wise as well. And you can see this through here. So if I click on this option here again, it will come back to the same one. This means that I have switched off the blend for this particular variable here. Okay. Same thing I can do for region as well. Something that I don't want to do. Okay. So this is how my blending takes place. There is one more way I can do it. Can anyone would like to try how I can solve this problem? Very easy if you just go through it.
Is it changing the column name, Abhishek?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, correct. Okay, yeah, Sai. Yes, Sai, you are absolutely correct there. Yeah, you can just change the column name there. So just a second. Yeah, so what you saw here. So if you remember, I just changed it to custom here. If it has changed to automatic, let it be changed to automatic. What you can do is either you can change this to period or you can change this to year here. Sorry, this to year here. So let me just change this to period. I can just simply double click here. And now you can see the blend has come back. Okay. Are we good with this? Or anyone who didn't understand what I just did and want me to repeat anything? Okay, I think if we are good with this, then let me just complete this part here. Let me just go back to the slides and yeah. So again, anyways, okay. Before that, can I just have a quick check with those of you who are able to install Tableau and if yes, then which version? Is it a public version or a student version? Can someone just can not someone but all of you can just quickly type in out that. Okay. Okay, I've only got 2 replies. Okay. I think for all of this, public version would be enough for you guys to understand and work around. What about others? I got only 4 replies. You want me to call out names? I can do that. Okay. So the reason that I'm asking is so that I can share the files with you, the workbook files, I mean the package workbook files with you, and you guys can open it up. Okay, anyways, I'll be, I mean, uploading all of this and you can try it out. And again, I have uploaded all this Flipkart revenue comparison file so that you can play around with that as well. Also, the custom joins file is something that I've uploaded here. You can again try doing the same thing what we have done in class. Okay, and just try validating whatever I tell you was right. Okay, and I haven't really taught you anything wrong there, so you can just validate and let me know. Again, if there is something wrong, you can again let me know. Maybe I can work around on that. So yeah, so I'll be uploading all those things module wise in our particular folder wherever we are uploading right now. I think one of you was not able to open it. Is it fine now? I think Anik, you were not able to open that, if I'm not wrong.
sorry, can you please come again? Which
Yeah,
one
you
you
were
say?
not able to open those files there, right? Are you able to open
No,
that
no, no,
now?
no. Now I am I'm able to open that. There was some issue. I restarted the Teams and it is working.
Okay, okay. Okay, so let me just quickly move on and complete this part in here. So again, just to reiterate, data blending is something that we do when the data is coming from multiple sources Okay. Second, it's always a left join. Third, it occurs at the granularity of the view. So if you remember, like it occurred on the period first, sorry, in the region first, when we brought in the revenue from the second file, and then we brought in the year there or the period there. It occurred on period and region analysis there. Okay, period and region wise those values came. So it is always it occurs at the granularity of the view, and it always happens before aggregation happens before the blend. Okay, so whatever the aggregation that has come there has happened before the blend and then came there. And the blends are unique to each worksheet. So whatever we have created there, if you just click on new worksheet, you will find it will come as a new one. Just let me quickly show you that as well. Okay, let me just quickly show you that. So if I click on a new worksheet now here, see, there is nothing as primary and secondary here. Until unless I place something from here, then only it will decide what is my primary and what is my secondary. And also the same analysis you can do the other way around as well. You can take Amazon first, and then you can do the period and the region wise analysis there. And then you can put in the revenue there. Okay. In this case, you have only 4 rows. Okay, since this would be my left join. Now, if I go to Flipkart and maybe I get in revenue from here, you can see it. You'll get only for these 4 states only. And the previous one you were getting for 6 because your primary table had 6 states, that is Flipkart. But in the second one, my primary table is Amazon. So I'll only get 4 because in there it was having only 4 states there. Okay. So this way also you can just try it out. Yeah. So that is the other thing. And again, if you just go back to this particular worksheet and open a new one, that will again come without the blending, any blending done there. Okay, again as a new refreshed data source. So their blends are always unique to worksheet. Okay. Let me just come back to the slides. Yeah, so these all things, I hope data blending is something that is clear to all of us. And if you still have any questions, you can just let me know. So again, difference between the two, again, just to recapture whatever we have learned. Okay, so joins are primarily used to merge data sets from the same data source, whereas blending is done to merge data from the different data sources. Okay, so that this is the first main difference. Same data source and the different data sources. Second one being combines tables by adding more columns of data across similar row, and blending is done at the aggregated level, like whatever is there on the view. In case of joins, tables by adding, it combines tables by adding more columns of data across similar rows. Like when we were seeing in case of left join, right join. So if the first table had 3 columns and the second table had 3 columns, and one of them was actually common one, then ultimately we had 5 columns there. If you remember the equi-join, left join, whatever we saw there. Third one is option to use different types of join. Okay, you have, in the case of joining, you can have left join, right join, equi-join, whole outer join, cross join. But in case of blending, it will always be a left join. Okay, and the final one being data has to be maintained at the same level of granularity. Okay, so in the case of joining, it is the prerequisite there. But in case of blending, data can be available in different level of granularities as well. So that is the biggest advantage when we are working with the data blending. Okay, so I think with this, I don't want you to something that we have already done, home screen, and maybe this is something that I can walk you through. Yeah, let me just quickly walk you through the Tableau, whatever we have in the our secondary screen here, Tableau sheet, and maybe then we can just wind up. Let me just see if I don't intend to cover any of this today. So yeah. So as you can see now in this particular sheet, from here you can see. So the first one, again, just to get you used to Tableau terminologies here. So just a quick recapture on this. So this first one here being my toolbar here, you have various options here. Okay, you have the option of, again, undo, redo, then saving, then adding a new data source, pausing the new data source. Maybe I think it would be better if we see it in Tableau itself. So let me just get back to that. Yeah, I think we can see it from here. So the first one being, we call this as my menu bar. This is something that we call as our toolbar. So it has frequently used options here. Okay, so once most of them you find it grayed out because we haven't really placed out anything here. Once we place anything, then we get some of them actually coming up. Okay, as you can see, it is now no longer grayed out now. So we have the option of undo, then redo, then saving the option, adding a new data source, then pausing the auto updates option for the data source. Then this is the run update option and updating the data source. Then we have adding the sheet option. We have here adding a new worksheet, new dashboard, new story. Same thing we have here as well. Adding a new workbook, new worksheet, new dashboard, and new story. Then we have option of duplicating the worksheet. Then we have option of clearing the worksheet. If I want to clear out all this, I can just simply click here and it will be cleared out. Okay, and then I have the option of swapping the rows with columns. I can just simply click here and whatever is there in my row comes in my columns and whatever is there in my column comes in my rows. Then I have the highlighting option, something that we'll discuss. Don't want you to get into it right away. Then I have the grouping option. I can group members. So maybe if I have period-wise, region-wise analysis, and let's say if I select these three here, I can group these three and maybe do my entire analysis on this, something that I don't want you to get into right now. Then I have text option. I'll always recommend keep this on so that you can understand like what is going on in here. Then I have this option of quit access, something like that will actually freeze your access here. Something if you don't really need it, I would recommend don't use this for now until unless you need it for a specific visualization. Then you have this option of fitting, so you can fit the width here. Okay, so it will by default be standard every time, but you can fit the width or maybe you can fit the height if the visualization is, let's say, like this. Okay, this would be your standard one, but you can actually fit it to height, or maybe you can just switch it to the entire view here. Then you have the option here to show and hide cards. This is when I say cards, these are my cards here. I'll just come back to this. Then you have the option of presentation mode. So this is the presentation mode. You can actually present your data like this. Okay, and then you have the option of shareability. Let me just come back to the slides once. Okay. Yes, so in here, so these are my all options here in the toolbar that we explored. And then we have, this is called as a sidebar here. You have the options of measures and dimensions. What are those? We are going to see in next class. Okay, so whatever for now you can consider whatever variables that you have that you're going to work with in your data source, that will all be a part of here. Okay, and in here you'll have this, we call this as pills here. Okay, these are all my pages shelf. Okay, again, something that we are not going to use in this course, but yeah, you can consider it as let's say if you have time there as year there, then you can actually place it here and you can actually play it like a video, and for every year it will change. um, let's say for 1989, 1990, 1991, for every year you can just play it and you see the data moving, how it is changing across years. Something that you can do here. Okay, something that we are not going to discuss and is not part of the session here, but you can anyways try it out. Very easy there. Then you have this filter shelf. Then you have this, we call it as column shelf, row shelf, and we call these as pills here. Okay. These are my blue pills representing my discrete variables, green pills representing my measures here. Okay, continuous variables basically. So again, something that we are going to discuss and start off with our next class with this. Then we have at 6 point show me button. It actually helps me when I place anything on my rows and column shelf. It helps me tell me that okay, these are all the visualization that you can actually make with whatever is there in your pills here. I mean these shelves here. Then this is very important, something that we use very frequently. We call it as marks card. So we have 5 options here. One is for color, then size, then labels, then details, and then tooltip. What are these? Again, something we will see. We call this entire thing as canvas or view. Okay, we can call it both ways. We call it as canvas. Whatever we are going to create, we are going to create in this particular part here. And this entire part is called a sheet. Here you'll see all the sheets coming up here, and the first one shows uh, like adding a new sheet. Similar to this, you can do it from here as well, adding a new sheet. Second one is for a new dashboard. Third one is for a new story. What are these? Again, we'll see in the upcoming sessions. I think with this, okay, what is missing is status bar. Okay, yeah. This entire thing is called as a status bar here. And you'll have again information just like in Excel you have at the down part you have the information about like what is the sum and all those like what is the count there, so all those information you'll have it here. Okay, so yeah, with this I think I am good with today's session.